Hello everyone and welcome to... Wait a minute, there's something wrong here. There we go, much better now. I guess you can actually focus now, what I'm saying. Get it? Because this week we are talking about manual focus. Oh god, just roll the damn intro. So welcome back to week 2. Hope you had a great first week shooting panning and tilting. I certainly had. I went outside every day, 30 minutes. I practiced a lot, I learned a lot of new things. I'll get to that a bit later. But first of all, for those of you who are new here, the summer film school is something that I started where I wanted to focus on one specific video skill over the course of the summer, practicing it for 1 week to kind of improve my own videography skills. And I thought that I would make it a community thing instead, where everybody can participate. I always put together like a small reading that's in the description below. And yeah, I just encourage you to basically go outside and shoot every day, practicing the video skill of the week. If you want a more detailed explanation, I can recommend watching the video up here, which features everything that you need to know, also the challenge for week 1, the skill for week 1. Yeah, but yeah, with that said, let's jump right into week number 2, where we are going to be focusing on manual focus. Like, if you're like me, and I'm certainly sure that some of you are, you know about manual focus as this thing that you should use more, but you kind of don't because autofocus is just so convenient. And let's be honest, autofocus nowadays on most modern cameras, for example the Sony I'm shooting on right now, it's just so good that in 90% of the cases it's just going to get you the shot. Just at the other 10%, it can actually kind of ruin a shot. So I've had this situation a couple of times where I was shooting outside this week for the summer film school week 1, where I was panning and tilting, and I used the autofocus and it just completely ruined the shot because the autofocus kept searching, it kept jumping around, and it just overall didn't really work that well. That's why this week I wanted to focus specifically on manual focus. I wanted to completely just use manual focus so I can really get kind of comfortable with it, get familiar with it, and also kind of combine it with what I learned in week 1. So combine panning and tilting with manual focus. There was last week, there was one video in the resources that I put below. It kind of talked about this. I'm gonna put it down below again because it's kind of a good introduction into zooming, panning and tilting, and yeah, it's a good resource. Definitely recommend watching that. So yeah, I encourage you to go outside however much time you have and just focus on a few manual focus techniques like rack focusing. You can focus on panning and tilting in combination with manual focus. Improve your shots, for example, if you do like a reveal shot where you have the focus set on what you're revealing behind it, stuff like that. As always, if you create something cool, always use the hashtag #SummerFilmSchool so me and others can find it. We can talk about it at the end of the video and learn from it. Speaking of learnings, let's get to my personal learnings from the first week, which was focused on panning and tilting. So one major area of improvement that I said that I wanted to have for panning and tilting was handheld. So I wanted to improve my handheld panning and tilting, and I think I especially improved in the tilting area because I figured out one cool trick that you can use while you are tilting. So before, let me just grab one camera. So before, what I used to do with the camera was I held it like this. I would basically just find a subject up here, and then I would tilt down basically just my hands like this. This kind of can introduce a little bit of shake, or like you can move around the camera. What I found works actually better is if you have the camera like this and you kind of bend down together with the camera like this, you do like a small Japanese bow. It basically just stabilizes this a lot better. The same way around, if you go up from the bow to like a straight position, you kind of use your body, not just the hands to move the camera, and I think this works a lot better for the tilting. So yeah, that's one tip that I would definitely recommend is just remember Japanese bow. You have a really nice smooth tilt. As far as panning goes, I haven't really figured out that to really a proficient degree. I would say that what I would recommend is kind of moving your hips as you pass, because kind of you are again using your body, not just your hands, because just using your hands kind of introduces shake. If you use your body, you can kind of alleviate a little bit of that. But I still haven't really figured out how to get it in like a nice tempo and everything. And I think a lot of the skills that you're gonna practice each week, you're not gonna figure out in 1 week. I think it's just something you get you started, and then you can take it out every week after that, or for every other shoot or something, and practice it a bit more and more and more until you get completely proficient at it, which is just going to take some time naturally. So the other one that I did was shooting on a tripod with a fluid head. Actually, I'm shooting on this tripod right now, so I can't show you how it worked. But basically what I figured is, the closer you step to the tripod, I think it's kind of like a weird thing, but the closer you step to the tripod and you hold it, the kind of less movement there is between your arm and your tripod, and kind of, I think it gets a lot smoother, the movement. There was one really interesting tip in a video that I shared last week that is again down below. You should only use one finger for panning, because if you do that, you kind of don't have your whole arm, you don't introduce up and down tilting, shake, you only have this panning movement left to right. So yeah, as I said, those are kind of my learnings from the first week. There's definitely gonna be more as I continue this technique, but I think the first week gave me a good foundation on kind of, and a good idea in kind of which direction I want to move in the future with these techniques. So yeah, that was it for this week. Again, week 2 is going to be focusing, get it? It's going to be focusing on manual focus. So I encourage you to go outside every day, set up a certain amount of time. For me, it's probably going to be again 30 minutes this time. I might go a bit over, I might under, depending on how I progress. And yeah, I encourage you to all go outside, shoot some manual focus, get a bit better at videography, and yeah, I also encourage you to subscribe, because there's going to be new videos uploaded every Wednesday on the Summer Film School, and there's also going to be a cinematic vlog every Sunday. So yeah, that's it for this week. I guess I'll see you next week, and now it's time to focus away. I don't know what that was.